Thursday, but heading into our Friday, another round possibly of a low-end severe weather threat. Through this evening, though, temperatures will be falling into the 50s past sunset, and then we'll eventually see those skies clear out as we head towards tomorrow morning. Much more on the severe weather threat heading our way again Friday in just about 10 minutes.
Thanks a lot, Riley. Unemployment numbers in Georgia are at a record low, but there aren't that many people looking for work.
And there are plenty of employers that are trying to fill those positions. Our Celeste Springer joins us now live at SRP Park. And Celeste, you say things did not kick off the way some had hoped out there.
Definitely. It's a lot nicer outside here now, but it was a monsoon earlier. You don't even have to hear it from me or Riley. If you were outside, you probably saw all the terrible weather, and it's no doubt why they decided to cancel the event that was going to be passed through those gates in the inside, outside, halfway area. But just because they postponed this job fair until March 24th, this isn't the only local opportunity out there. Goodwill hosted a job fair today with employers from all sorts of industries. You name it, they said they had it. According to the Georgia Department of Labor, industries in need of workers the most are in the healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and hospitality fields. The most recent data from the Department of Labor shows initial claims for unemployment are actually down 78% from last year, though. We're told this job hunting climate puts job seekers at the advantage.
There's a lot of opportunity right now. We're encouraging people. This is a time really that you can make a really great career move, that you could possibly get into a position for growth opportunities more quickly than you may have been able to, progress in a career path in the past.
So again, the job fair here today was postponed until March 24th, but coming up in the next half hour, we'll be hearing more about what those opportunities will look like once they're able to circle back around and reschedule that. Guys?
Yeah, job seekers in high demand right now. Celeste, thank you for the update there.
3 weeks into Russia's and the Biden administration previously ruled out a transfer of fighter jets via a U.S. airbase in Germany. He says it would be a high-risk step that would increase tensions with Russia.
Meanwhile, today, Alec Murdaugh and fellow attorney are being indicted on new charges by a state grand jury. It's all in connection to that settlement in the death of Murdaugh's former housekeeper. Gloria Satterfield died in a fall at the Murdaugh home back in 2018. Her sons say they haven't received any money from that death settlement. So the fellow attorney was the first one Satterfield's sons hired to help them through that lawsuit.
It has been a year since a set of shootings at the Atlanta spas claimed the lives of 8 people. Well, now the community is remembering each of the victims and their loved ones who carry on that loss. Many of the victims from the killings were women of Asian descent. Robert Aaron Long is accused of those killings. Since then, there's been more fear and anger among Asian Americans. Many of them were frustrated about law enforcement's response to the shootings. Officers told reporters Long felt ashamed his sexual urges, that he viewed massage spas as a source of his temptation. He claims racial bias was not his motivation.
Life after this tragedy has been about grieving, healing, and reflection. But this past year has not been easy. Our family not only grieves on March 16th, but every day because of the continued trauma.
Long has been convicted of murder after pleading guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Some good news today on the COVID front locally. Piedmont, Augusta, down to 10 COVID patients. They say they've slowly declined over the last few weeks to about 19 patients a day. They hung there a week or so longer. Now they're hoping for the single digits to kick in soon. Just yesterday, the Charlie Norwood VA told us they didn't have any COVID patients at the time. AU Health's last update was 5 days ago when they reported 48 patients.
The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding this man. Take a good look. They say Francis Paget is wanted for an aggravated battery that happened March 4th on Wilkshire Drive. If you have any information, if you've seen him, you're asked to call the number on your screen.
The Braves making some moves, bringing back a key piece from last year's title run.
Nick Proto is here with the latest from Braves spring training. Nick.
Well, when the Braves made all those moves at last year's trade deadline, they knew they'd have to do some work this offseason to get those guys to stay for the long haul. Well, today they locked up Eddie Rosario for 2 more years. The team announced they're bringing Rosario back on a 2-year, $18 million deal. After coming over from Cleveland last year, Rosario hit .271 with 7 home runs for the Braves. He rose to the occasion in the postseason, winning NLCS MVP last year. He hit .560 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs against the Dodgers. And speaking of MVPs, coming up on News 12 at 6 o'clock, Freddie Freeman gives a heartfelt thank you and goodbye to Braves Nation. Over at Aquinas today, Charlie Bussey III signs to play baseball at Francis Marion. Bussey led the area with 9 home runs last season. He's a 3-sport athlete, also playing football and basketball for the Irish, but he'll be on the diamond for the Francis Marion Patriots. Bussey says playing 3 sports has allowed him to prepare his body for college baseball.
Physicality and just getting bigger. I know football, summer workouts, just changing, my body, getting ready for, the upcoming baseball season, getting built, just getting that kind of so-called free workout just for the baseball season.
Irish baseball is 2-4 on the year. All right, thanks for that, Nick. We are still tracking a severe...
All right, thanks for that, Riley. It's not just the nanny cam you have to worry about anymore. If you're staying in a rental property this spring or summer, how to spot hidden cameras that could be watching you. It's after the break.
And sword swallowers, jars of hair, a 2-headed T-Rex. Might sound like something from a circus, right? But coming up first at 5, how you can take a step back in time to see it all.
The limelight.
The world's only 2-headed T-Rex is on...
They do. Making them pay up, that's what I do.
Injured? Call the strong arm.
The world's only 2-headed T-Rex is on its way to Augusta on a boat from China, and you can go see it this fall. It'll premiere at Pecco's American Dime Museum in downtown Augusta. There used to be 3 or 4 dime museums per block back in the 1800s, but the owner of Augusta's Dime Museum says it was never the same after the advent of movies, and now he says he is the only true dime museum in the world.
Well, in the Dime Museum, we had oddities, anomalies, history, science, current events, things that weren't important at all, like jars of hairs. We capture you for 2 hours of your life, bring you back to the 1800s, and John Red Stewart is the oldest sword swallower on the face of the earth, and he does give you a performance at the end of the tour.
Well, right now, if you want to see the museum, you can sign up for a private tour. All the tours are private right now as a COVID precaution. This afternoon, a coalition...
...voices and also condemn that bill. Okay, if you're going to be vacationing in a rental property this spring or summer, you might want to keep an extra eye out.
Hidden cameras are against the rules for Airbnb unless they tell you about them in advance. Still, it happens, and Jamie Tucker shows us how to find them.
Security cameras have gotten a lot cheaper, smaller, and a lot easier to hide. I have 4 hidden cameras on these shelves behind me, and you would probably never see them unless you knew exactly what to look for. Some security cameras look like cameras, of course, but some are built into alarm clocks, even smartphone chargers. This may look like just another smoke detector, but there's a small camera that records video on a micro SD card, and the owner can peek in using an app on their phone. This one above the bed began auto-streaming video when it detected movement. Here's how to see cameras that may be watching you. Check the outlets. Most hidden cameras, the cheaper ones, need power. Follow the wires from the outlets to see what's plugged in. If there's a smoke detector in an unusual place like above the bed, inspect it. Turn off the lights and look around. Infrared cameras will give off a red light. Use a flashlight or the torch on your smartphone and slowly look around bedrooms and bathrooms. Hidden cameras will have a lens and you may be able to see a glare from the light. Check baskets and toys and other items on the shelf or a floor in bedrooms and bathrooms. There are several apps that can show you everything that's connected to the Wi-Fi router, though even after paying for a subscription, I haven't had much luck with them identifying cameras specifically. And when you get to the rental property, unplug the Wi-Fi for a few minutes. If the host calls or drops by to ask if everything's okay, it might be because their hidden camera is no longer connected to the internet and is no longer streaming. And if you do find a hidden camera, call police. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
In fact, if a host breaks the camera rule, Airbnb will remove them from their listing.
So it's important to report it.
Still tracking a severe thunderstorm warning near Waynesboro in central Byrd County. This storm moving north at about 30 miles per hour and producing quarter-size hail. Very intense stones of ice falling from the sky. Now look at our forecast and radar update just after break.
March 11th. You don't pay a penny for our services. Don't wait till you're 65 to call. For U64.com.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
New on News 12 at 6 o'clock, part 2 of our exclusive interview with Augusta Mayor Hardy Davis as he responds to allegations of misused money.
It's been disappointing and painful for me. It's been disappointing and painful for my family and those supporters of mine who have watched me over the years, who know me, who know the person of integrity and character.
Tonight, we dig into claims from a former employee about what she calls the mayor's second office. But first up, it's been an on and off day of storms all day.
They continue to produce some very strong hail and winds. We'll have much more on this forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thank you. A follow-up tonight on our exclusive interview with Augusta's Mayor Hardy Davis as he responds to those allegations that he misused city money.
Right now, the mayor is part of a state ethics investigation. There are also allegations surfacing from 2 former staffers about how his office handles his finances.
News 12's Kennedy Harris live in our newsroom for us. And Kennedy, you spoke with one of the mayor's former executive assistants who claims the mayor actually had 2 offices. What does that mean?
That's right. So one of his former executive assistants says the mayor had an outside group of counselors, which for the most part he tried to keep secret from his other employees. She claims he'd have separate projects with those counselors, but the mayor denies all of these allegations. He says every dollar spent in his office can be accounted for, and he has nothing to hide.
Mayor Davis had a plan for himself that he didn't communicate.
2 years ago, Letitia McMillan walked out of the mayor's office. You feel like he used that money for self-promotion?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
McMillan alleges Mayor Davis used city funds allocated to his office for personal gain. She also says he worked with people outside his office.
Internally, we had a group of workers, but he also had what he referred to as his outside counsel.
I talked with Mayor Davis about those allegations.
It's been painful. It's been disappointing and painful for me. It's been disappointing and painful for my family.
He says the outside counsel doesn't exist, but he doesn't deny using outside consultants to assist in his office.
And we will use consultants as necessary to support any effort that we have when we don't have the skill set inside of this office.
As for the current ethics complaints against him, he says he's filed any previously unfiled reports.
And if you go to the state ethics website right now, you'll see thousands of individuals who have had late reports.
There have been 9 state ethics investigations resolved in 2021. 6 had to do with missing or improper filings or disclosure reports. The state is also looking into his involvement with a billboard campaign to put the new JBA at Regency Mall. But how do you explain the email sent from your personal email okaying the template design for that?
There's a single email. That single email says, I like that.
In our conversation with the mayor, he also referred to an internal audit of his office done last year at his request. That audit found no serious wrongdoing or improper money handling. Some commissioners were not happy with that audit. They wanted a deeper dive into his spending.
Okay, Kennedy, thanks for keeping us up to date. An example of one of those recently resolved ethics cases involved a member of Georgia's House of Representatives. Just to give you an example, they were ordered to pay a $2,000 fine for 3 different violations, including failure to disclose campaign contributions and expenditures. The Ethics Commission can issue fines and penalties and decide if criminal charges should be pursued. The state investigation into Mayor Davis's finances is still ongoing.
And also new at 6 o'clock, Richmond County. And also new at 6 o'clock, Richmond County Tax Commissioner Stephen Kendrick resigning so he can focus on his run for mayor. He's one of 9 people that will be on the ballot May 24th. A reminder, Mayor Davis cannot run for re-election because of term limits. We're told there will be a special election in November to fill Kendrick's position as Augusta's tax commissioner. Today's gloomy weather putting a damper on hiring plans for the Augusta Green Jackets.
Yeah, a bit of a bummer. The team had to cancel their job fair today at SRP Park. News 12 Celeste Springer is there live. And Celeste, you say the team has already rescheduled and they're ready to get more employees on board.
Yep, they do. They rescheduled to March 24th. And some good news, though, I heard that from the people that have been in the box office today, that luckily the memo of that postponement did get around. There's only been one person today that's shown up asking about the job fair. But the cancellation also means that you've got another chance to come out and try and snag a job before opening day. Despite what it looks like here, SRP Park says sunnier days are ahead.
Well, we're looking forward to hopefully a lot of candidates to come out. We've got a lot of seasonal positions that we're still looking to fill.
The rain put a bit of a damper on things, especially since they're trying to phase out of doing virtual interviews.
Strategies have kind of changed how we've done it. It's been a while since we did in-person interviews.
And they weren't the only ones hoping to get their hands on some applications. About 30 employers headed out to a Goodwill job fair across town.
Our unemployment rates are at unprecedented lows right now, and we're still seeing employers that are desperate for workers.
Believe it or not, unemployment claims in Georgia have actually been going down over the last year, and the unemployment rate is nearing pre-pandemic levels.
Oh, it's been tough. With COVID, it's been tough to fulfill these jobs that we have.
The difficulty really depends on the industry. According to the Georgia Department of Labor, healthcare, retail, manufacturing, and hospitality jobs all have the most openings. One employer tells us looming vaccine mandates by companies they're contracted by made things even more difficult for them.
With certain contracts and certain companies, we can only send out a select few individuals. We're struggling trying to get people who are at least willing to consider that option.
While others remain hopeful.
I'd love to see 20 plus people come to our office and we can put them to work immediately.
And again, the job fair for SRP has been postponed to March 24th. And also, just a heads up, if you can't make that one either, they say you can come by here during any business hours and drop off the application and snag a job that way as well.
Workers in demand in all kinds of situations. Celeste, thanks for the update there from SRP Park. Still to come on News 12 at 6 o'clock. When the power lines go down in your neighborhood, do you know what to do? We're on your side with how to keep you and your family safe through the storm season.
And large hail is the main threat with storms this evening and tonight, and likely we'll see another warning issued here shortly for Richmond County. We'll have that update just after the break.
And it's sushi with a Tex-Mex twist. We're checking out the new spot in Evans, serving up sushi burritos next.
Time and temp.
There's a new restaurant open in Evans serving sushi with a twist. It's called Roll On In, and they say they're taking sushi to the next level. We talked to the owners today about the kind of food you can expect there.
Roll On In is an Asian fusion Tex-Mex kind of combination. Things like sushi burritos and hibachi bowls and poke bowls. And if you don't like one of our specialty menus, we can completely customize what you like. And we can make anything you want.
Not only do they do sushi burritos, but tacos and sushi donuts too. And if you're wondering what that is, it's basically sashimi. But if you want to check it out, you can find it off of Evans Town Center Boulevard, right between the park and the Performing Arts Center, in the same suite as Buzzed Bull Creamery. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 9, but something new to the area.
Yeah, so who's hungry? Food and weather together. That's the way we like to do it.
I am always hungry this time of day.
Me too.
So, yes.
But not the best weather-wise to actually kind of head out on the roadways. We are tracking some strong storms, and this one actually isn't, though. Can't rule out a lingering shower Saturday morning, but generally just breezy and high temps in the 70s both Saturday and Sunday.
Riley, thanks. Leaning, damaged, broken power line poles. Neighbors in one South Augusta subdivision say there are at least 3 on their streets they want taken care of. News 12's Claire Allen joining us live now from just outside our studio. And Claire, those neighbors tell you they've called the utility company a number of times and nothing's getting done.
Your typical power line poles have about 7,200 wires per volt per wires and can deliver a daily shock. Some folks in one neighborhood say that broken poles and lines have been a problem for months, and their concern now is their safety. People in this South Augusta neighborhood tell me broken power poles and down power lines have become a new normal for this area.
We've been here probably about 2 or 3 months.
Because what happens is tractor trailers try to turn around in that neighborhood down there, and they always sideswipe the poles. And they don't usually stick around, they just keep right on, riding.
Georgia Power says typically when poles and wires break, is due to trees falling on them for various reasons, like storm damage or even car accidents.
It can be fixed. It needs to be fixed. We've been staying in this neighborhood going on 21 years. And it's never been this bad.
Regardless of the cause, neighbors are concerned for their safety.
Power going in and out, nothing but trees, branches falling. It'd be bad.
Power lines come down, somebody's going to get electrocuted.
Now, I did speak with Georgia Power, and they say that they did find those areas of those poles and would fix them, those wires that are related to them.
Claire, thanks for that. Now, it's also good to know if you notice issues with street lights, storm drainage, or ordinance violations, I should say. Those are city services. You can call 311. Augusta 311 will take care of that. But for power concerns or outages, reach out to your power company.
To sports now, Freddie Freeman says goodbye to Atlanta. Plus, what last night's win means for Augusta's men's basketball team. That's next with Nick.
The Live by Camera Net. 9. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Well, if Freddie Freeman leaving the Braves didn't feel official already, it does now. The former MVP took to Instagram this afternoon to thank Braves Nation for a great 15 years. Here's one of the photos in Freeman's post along with the caption. He says in part, quote, "Although our time has come to an end, I look forward to seeing and playing in front of you all again. When that time comes, I hope you remember all of the wonderful memories we made together. I love you, Braves country, champions forever." Now, to me, that just sounds like please don't boo me the next time I come into town. But during his time in Atlanta, Freeman made 5 All-Star games, won an MVP, a Gold Glove, and 3 Silver Sluggers. Still no word yet on who he's signing with for this upcoming season. Well, in case you missed it last night, Augusta University men's basketball team is going to the Division II Elite Eight for the first time since 2010. The Jags knocked off Queens in the Sweet 16 last night at Christenberry Fieldhouse. Here's the video of the final play. Miguel Arnold knocking down the go-ahead three-pointer with less than 2 seconds to go, and Augusta is headed to Indiana. Pure madness as the team and fans stormed the court in celebration. The team cut down the net. Head coach Dick Mitras even jumped from the top of the ladder into the arms of his players down below. Mitras says the play they ran last night is the first time all season they've actually run that play successfully. What a great time to get it right. But here's a look now at the last 8 teams remaining. Each team got reseeded. Augusta drawing the 3 seed. They will take on 6-seeded Chico State in the quarterfinals, 9:30 Tuesday night. All the remaining games will be in Evansville, Indiana. The Division II National Championship will take place Saturday, March 26th. Augusta looking for its first national title in program history. Finally this evening, Kyrie Irving scored a career-high and Nets franchise record 60 points in last night's win over the Magic. That means Kyrie had more points last night than I have in my entire YMCA Sunday pickup career.
Wow. Okay, go Jags. Thanks for that, Nick. Well, a bill to suspend Georgia's gas tax is just one vote away now from the governor's desk. When he signs it into law, it'll suspend the gas tax through the end of May, saving Georgians about 29 cents per gallon at the pump. But when it comes to suspending gas taxes in South Carolina, Governor McMaster says that's not going to happen. Here's News 12's Sloan O'Cone with a look at why.
We all want to go back to the good old days when gas prices looked more like this. But they aren't that far behind us. Just take a drive down most of South Carolina's roads and bridges, and you'll see the good old days are exactly where they've stayed. SCDOT says they're working to make up for over 30 years of neglect to their infrastructure. How? A 10-year plan started in 2017, which raises the state gas tax 2 cents every year to raise over $2 billion. As of January, SCDOT has repaired 7,000 miles of roads and 16 bridges, broken down into interstate upgrades, rural road safety, and pavement. So McMaster says suspending the tax would do more harm than good.
To the great progress we're making now in repairing, widening, and fixing our roads.
In Aiken County, they've spent over $65 million repaving over 250 miles of road. Since 2019, nearly $850 million has been made from the gas tax, so they can pay the $2.139 billion in total project commitments made to January of this year. It's money they desperately need to revitalize and make our roadways safer. Sloan O'Cone, on your side.
So from January of last year to January this year, total project commitments cost $2.3 billion. The gas tax in South Carolina made up more than $193 million of those costs.
Well, the National Weather Service did